Well, hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kojo Majo. Thanks for joining me today. For those of you who haven't subscribed that have been watching my videos since I first started the channel, I'd like to say I'm so sorry for not posting videos for the past however many months. It's not a joke. Sometimes I wish I had an accountability buddy to just hold me accountable to uploading videos, but I have the discipline. I know I have it, so I'm going to be uploading videos as consistently as possible soon. But we're gonna start with this, and I know this is not a political channel. I have no intention of making it a political channel. I don't think I'm super skilled at political issues, so it is not gonna be anything political. But this is one thing that is a stem of politics, which is this woke culture that has taken America by storm. And it's been on my mind for some time now to like talk about it. It's like, wait, are you sure you want to incorporate that into your channel? Since it's not a political channel. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with what woke culture is or wokeness is. And I think that it confuses me a lot. From the first time I saw two guests at the bar talking about it, I was like, what is woke? Like, is that the right tense? Is this a verb or an adjective? What is it? I wasn't sure what it was, but I thought they were trying to say awake, not knowing that they actually meant what they said, which was woke. I was like, okay, and it's not like woke up, it's just woke. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then as I kept on eavesdropping in the conversation, they were talking about racism and systematic racism and oppression and whiteness and all this stuff. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that today. And then I wondered, as we were discussing it, like, what is the goal of this? Like, what is the goal of constantly talking about racism, of constantly talking about white supremacy, of constantly talking about oppression? Like, when you introduce those kind of sensitive topics, especially around people that are not racist, that don't care about your race, that don't care about your color, your sexual orientation, they just don't care. They're just there to have a good time, or they just want to have a good time and live their lives. What is the goal of constantly bringing this up? And some people argue that the reason people bring this up often is to end racism. Okay, how do you end racism? Like, it's hard to pinpoint people that are racist sometimes that are amongst us. You can't always pinpoint people that are racist. And some people argue that, oh, black people can't be racist, so it's usually white people that are racist because they're the ones in power, blah, 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 blah. And that is not true. Anything that stems from hate, just hating a group of people based on the color of their skin, it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, black, white, gay, straight, if you hate a group of people solely based on the color of their skin, you're racist to me. It doesn't matter if you're a black person that hates a white person, or a white person that hates a black person, or any other race that hates any other race for whatever reason, because you think they have too much privilege, because you think of what happened in the past. If you incorporate hate into your being, into the way you interact with other people, the way you perceive other people that hasn't done anything to you, you're racist. I mean, that's a whole other video, but in a nutshell, you're racist if you project hate on another group of people or person based on the color of their skin. So a lot of people argue that, black people can't be racist. I was like, that's a big lie. Now, wokeness and BLM tends to go hand in hand, although I feel like wokeness was around a little bit longer than BLM was formed. They tend to go hand in hand, and they tend to share the same ideologies and a way of thinking. And if the goal is to end white supremacy, how do we justify hate? How do we justify burning of properties, looting, and murdering as a way to justify and to end racism? Like, causing violence, causing people to be afraid, causing people to panic, instilling fear in the community does not end racism. It will not end racism. I believe it will actually cause more racist people, or people, if you believe a lot of white people are racist, which I don't believe, but if you believe that they're racist and you start doing this, maybe they just might start being racist towards people of color. People that probably don't even think about your race, that have their own problems. They have white people problems, but you're over here worried about them and what they're doing. But we're not focused on our own, on ourselves and our community and what we can be doing to enhance the black community. When you focus solely on white people, you take away from our own community. You take away from the attention that we need in our community, the fact that a lot of black households do not have fathers in them. What is it, about over 70% of African American homes do not have fathers present. That's an alarming amount of households that do not have fathers to show their kids direction, to show them what it means to be responsible, to show them what it means to be a human being, how to be a positive contributor to society. That's a lot. And I think that if we can actually just go back and just focus all that attention on our own community, meaning the black community, we won't have to worry about who's racist or not. Because in 2021, some of you might say some shit about this, but in 2021, the degree of racism that exists will not stop you from your dreams. It will not stop you from doing what you want to do. It will not stop you from being who you are, being who you want to be. It will not stop you from anything. If someone is racist, if a white person is racist, if a black person is racist, except they're there to kill you, which I do not condone, racism, the degree of racism that we face now is nothing in comparison to what our ancestors faced. And since we're no longer enslaved, we're not victims of whiteness. We're not victims of white supremacy or systematic racism. We have a choice, and we are free in America. If America was such a bad place and Americans face this oppression and the white man holding him back, how come so many people want to come here? Millions of people would die to come to America, from South America, from Europe, from Africa, people anywhere, Asia, people around the world would die to come to this country. We, as a country, have produced more successful black people than any other country. Right here in America, America has produced way more successful black people than any other country in the world. If you don't agree with me, you're welcome to mention in the comments. What other country in the world has more millionaires and billionaires that are black? What other country has a large amount of African Americans that are successful and that live comfortably in their country, meaning middle class black people that live comfortably? Like, what other country has a group of middle class black people that live comfortably in their country? I mean, I'll wait. The closest is probably UK. There is no other country, even in Africa, the standard of living that we have in America is a lot higher than anywhere else, even as a broke person. So when people start crying about systematic racism, like, is it racism that's holding you back? Or is it your mind that's holding you back? What you allow yourself to believe, what you've been conditioned to believe that's holding you back? Because when I look around, when I go outside, do I believe that there's discrimination or racism? Yes. Like, I've been discriminated against a lot, especially when it comes to like housing. I'm a bit of a nomad, so I've moved around quite a bit. But when it comes to housing, that's when I notice it. But I have never for once said to myself, oh, that person is racist, and I felt the need to like air it out. Like, I don't care. Like, that's a waste of your energy. When you focus too much on something, you're distracting away from the things that really need attention from you, which is your own community, which is your own dreams and goals. You're focusing on whiteness and white people. Meanwhile, they're focusing on their own issues. It's not gonna help. Like, highlighting racism, always bringing it up, talking about it every single time. I just don't see. I mean, you can, if you oppose what I'm saying, you can say it in the comments. Like, you're more than welcome to say it in the comments. I mean, at the end of the day, what do I think the solution is? First of all, a lot of this woke culture believe in really extreme ideologies, like defunding the police, dismantling the nuclear family structure. Meanwhile, in the African American community, we already don't have that much of a nuclear family structure. Like, what is it? Probably less than 30% of the African American families actually have a solid nuclear family structure or anything that resembles it. So when you dismantle everything, what then happens? You know, when criminals get shot, be it justifiably or unjustifiably, I always wonder what made that guy go out there to become a criminal. Usually when you look at it, it's because they had no guidance or they felt like they didn't belong, so they had to go join a group to feel like they belong. So when we really look at it as to why is that occurring in our community, you know, why are a lot of these men becoming criminals? There is no father at the home. It really just boils down to that at the end of the day. I didn't grow up with a father, and I wish I had a father there. It would eliminate so much of the drama and confusion I had growing up. But these guys join these criminals or these groups that they don't realize are, you know, bad groups, to feel like they belong. And eventually what happens when the system catches up to them, a cop stops them, they resist arrest, you know, that energy transfers to the cop. The cop is just like, oh my God, what is this? And they just like, you know, nervous. When people are nervous, they don't always think straight. Good cop or bad cop, they don't think straight. So if you stop resisting arrest, that will reduce your chances of getting shot drastically. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. Even if you're a criminal and you don't resist arrest, there's a high chance that you're gonna survive. So why don't we actually discuss why these men are not resisting arrest versus pointing fingers at the cops? Cops are actually putting their lives at risk every day for us to feel safe. And I respect cops and I appreciate what they do. You would never hear me say defund the police at any given point. Because the same people that cry defund the police, guess what happens when a crime happens? They call the police. Like, I'm like, what do you want? Like what do you want? Like, you have to make up your mind. You can't just cry about an issue and then when something arises, you want that whole thing back. Like, no, make up your mind. Do you want the police or do you not want the police? At the end of the day, what I realize is that woke ideologies do not help or enhance the Black community whatsoever. You know, we've been pushing this wokeness now for what? About 1.5 years, almost 2 years. I haven't seen an improvement in the Black community. Like, I've seen Black people that have improved, but the community as a whole improved as a result of pointing fingers at white people and racism and discussing it. I haven't seen it improve, so I'm not gonna join a movement that A, doesn't work, and B, the way they think is just out of this world. Sometimes I think it's all a show, as to see who can, you know, come up with the most outrageous ideologies that they believe will help the Black community. And I just think that people just need to go back to common sense and start treating people how they would like to be treated, regardless of the race that you are in, that you are. Because this wokeness is only bringing America down. And at the rate that we're going, I'm just nervous that we might be heading to communism if this thing continues. And communism has never helped any country, period. It's not gonna help a country, it's not gonna help an individual, it's not gonna help a family, it's not gonna help anyone or anything. Because what happens is, everything is under control by government and the elites. Everyday people, upper middle class people, there will be none of that. Everyone will be just equal. There will be no class. There will be no reason for you to do anything. There will be no incentive for you to chase your dreams. There will be no dreams for you to chase because everybody will be on the same playing field. It's like you're always going to be constant here. There will be no up and down. There will be no put in all this effort and you're going to advance. There will be none of that. And it seems like people want that even playing field, but it's really not going to help the country. But I do hope that people start to come to their senses and stop jumping on movements and ideologies that does not serve them, their communities, and does not make sense. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comment below, and see you later.